This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. Let's get back to our calls. Let's talk to Jesse from Culver City. Jesse, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I got both, Mr. Vincent. Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm okay. Mr. Vincent, I just want to ask you a couple questions. The first question that, if my wife filed a false domestic violence against me, and I was arrested, and but I still have to go to the court. There's no hearing yet. The DA have not filed any press charges, but the social worker recommending my wife to do a restraining order because the two kids was taken by the social worker with the police. They came to the home for the welfare check. I told them, I never give permission for them to enter my house, but without a warrant. But they say no, for the welfare check they don't need a warrant, and they approached my wife. Obviously, she opened up the door and let them in, and then they start asking them questions. So, false allegations happening in my home many times, for something because of the her stepchild, which is my biological child. She don't want her to come to the home. She's not like welcome, and that's the problem that I'm facing. So, allegation happened, So now, is the social worker have had any rights to recommend in the TDM or in the petition that my wife should file a restraining order, and if she comply with that, is that some sort of agreement that they will return the child to her, or how does it work? Because so far they're not returning the child.
Okay, Jesse, let me answer that question. The social worker can advise your wife to try to get a restraining order if there are some domestic violence allegations against you. So she's well within her right to do it. Now, I don't, if they're false, or if the social worker knows that they're false, that's a whole nother story. Now, once your wife gets the restraining order against you, that doesn't mean that there's a guarantee that the social worker is going to return the child. In order to do that, if the social worker doesn't agree to return the child, you're going to have to go to court, the juvenile court, the CPS court, and have a contested, what they call adjudication and or disposition hearing in order to get the child back to her or back to you or back to both of you. Does that make sense?
So, yeah, I understand that, because, I will have a criminal proceeding, at the same time I will have the restraining order proceeding in the civil court. But I'm a little bit confused because the restraining order will come first, which is on the September 11, and followed by September 22nd, it will be criminal.
Yeah,
so I
hold on,
do
Jesse,
not want
there's something important that I want
Okay,
to tell you. You should not be testifying in any case prior to your criminal case.
So I should not testify in any case.
In any case, before your criminal case. Now, here's the problem. If you have a CPS case, the judge in the CPS case will not continue your case just because you have an upcoming criminal case. The strategy that I just told you, that's just a strategy. It's not the law. Because you don't want to testify at the civil case for the restraining order, and then testify something a little bit different in the criminal case. They'll argue that your prior testimony or your current testimony is not truthful, and that you're not credible, and that your story shouldn't be believed. You follow that?
And so, so I understand I shouldn't testify, but any written document on whatever happened in my house, should I furnish that to my attorney? And based on her recommendation, she do. Can my older child testify in the court? Because
Jesse, that's a couple different questions altogether. Whether your older daughter can testify, that's a whole separate issue. But You have to talk to your attorney and take your attorney's advice on the situation. Now, I personally haven't reviewed your file. I haven't seen any evidence, so I can't give you an exact or specific strategy. You need to sit down with your attorney and form a strategy and implement that strategy. Okay?
So, Mr. Vincent, one important question.
Mhm.
I have I understand that I have the hearing, dispositional hearing and jurisdictional hearing on August, coming up August 26th,
Mhm.
prior to my criminal case, false allegation. So how can I fight for this case? If the judge will find the allegation true, then, during that time I have to say that I want a contested hearing,
Yes,
and
you
it
do.
will be recommending another date.
The answer is yes, but that's something, again, you're going to have to talk to your attorney about. Because you have different cases going on in different courtrooms and in different departments of the Superior Court, you're going to have to sit down and devise a very, careful strategy. Hey, Jesse, I want to thank you for calling and thank you for listening. And we're going to move to another call right now.